Hey y'all, welcome back to the ranch. I'm Jared Paul. This afternoon I was walking around checking out the bonsais on my back deck here, and I realized that my Japanese Zelkovas have really exploded with growth, and they're growing muscularly. The forest plantings are pushing branches into each other, cross branching. It's a total mess, and I'm really excited about it. Japanese Zelkova is such a unique tree. I have maybe 7 to 12 different plantings, some groups, and some specimen, and they come in all different shapes and sizes. I have my favorite one here, my Japanese Zelkova in a duck pot, and you see this thing is only a couple years old, and it's got lots of tiny branching, and the leaves are coming in very small. But you come over to one of my forests, as you see, same species, same age. Here's another specimen, same species, same age. So some are in dormancy, or what I'm thinking is some late dormancy. Some are just starting to grow, like my duck pot Zelkova, and then the others I already talked about. We're going to get in and take a look at them, get them pruned up, and ready for the early summer season. So that's what's coming up on today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai. Right, so I have two of these Zelkovas that are planted in groupings of 3. This is the first one, and it's they're planted a little further away than the other. But in both plantings, I did a dominant tree, a medium-sized, and then one of the smaller. So I gave this thing a preliminary pruning, actually, I think to take it out of dormancy, and it has really taken to it. So I like to just lower the apex on all of them, so I'll probably take it down to the top couple of leaves on these leaders. Anything reaching outside the pot, I'll do the same. Really just so much growth. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of a profile pruning here just to get in there and then take out the cross branching. I think less with this one. As you see, they're actually barely just touching here. Less with this one, but more with the 3 Zelkovas that are planted closely together. They're all climbing up on each other. So I knew it would be a unique planting, an interesting challenge to have them all have their own space, but be a part of one very nice design. So I just played with it. All right. This branch is growing directly across to the trunk line. I don't want that at all. Same thing with this one. So basically any interior growth on these multi-trunks, I'm cutting out. Got one lower branch growing right out of the base of, where the trunk splits. I'll take that out. Unless I'm like pretty much starting over with a branch, I typically will never keep the smaller one that's growing from the bottom. I'll typically always cut that out, because really all it's doing is it'll cause a bulge where the branch meets the trunk, and they'll just be fighting for the energy, to share the energy for the tree, rather than that one branch that you want getting all of its energy. So that's why you do that. If you have not checked out my buddy's channel at Bonsai Rebellion, he's out in I think like northwestern Germany. He has a pine army, a ton of pines. But what's funny is, we're always commenting and watching each other's videos, and he likes to make fun of my duck pot. I think because it's not exactly very masculine. But I don't give a shit. I like it. But he's a good dude. So if you haven't checked out his channel, shorter videos, sets to nice music. He has some baby trees. He has some older trees, some Yamadori. It's cool. Yeah, I think with this larger one, I want it to appear as the largest one. So I'm going to take out any growth that isn't part of the main trunk. So you have this lower split here, which I really like, a dominant branch this way that then divides into two and becomes slightly a mess. And then this one's slightly thinner, but that also divides into two and becomes slightly a mess. So now that I just raised the canopy on the larger one, I'll go ahead and take out those branches from the base of other branches like I was just talking about, and any further cross branching. I feel like with these, when you have a bonsai that you have to prune and it's slightly overwhelming because there's just so much growth everywhere and you don't know what you want to prune off. I feel like you just have to take it in small stages, compartmentalize it. Get that first cleanup work done on stuff that you're absolutely certain of, and then move on to the other trees in the planting and do the same, and then come back and do more refinement as you go. Because if you just try to attack one tree and you're leaving all the others a mess, and you're taking out cross branching and this branch and the longer growth, and you're trying to do it all at once, it's really easy to make a regrettable mistake. Take your time with these. You water them how many times a year? You fertilize them, we prune them, we repot them, mist them, free them from insect attacks. So you put in all that time. You don't want to rush when it comes down to the really important fun parts, which for me, it's always the pruning. I love the pruning and then the regrowth. That's always the coolest. So made some cuts in this area before. There's a couple of the dead parts left that I'm just going to remove. Okay, it's cleaner now. One more smaller one. Yeah, it's starting to look like a tree. All right, y'all. So I don't know when you got cut out, but I might have even missed talking about how you might be getting cut out. Oh, well, you'll forgive me. It's all about the trees, and man, I'm loving these guys. So I grew these from seed in December 2018. December 2018. So we're looking at just about a year and a half old. Heck yeah. So this is my Japanese Zelkova forest planting 3 far apart. On part 2 of this series, we'll get to my Japanese Zelkova planted closely together. And at some point, I'm gonna have to tackle this awesome Yamadori white pine. It's been growing root over rock for about a year. I'm not gonna mess with the roots, but there is a ton of growth in here on these little candles, and they're on top of each other. So I think I need to do some corrective action before I let it go any further. So that'll be coming up on the next episode. Nope, we gotta finish these Japanese Zelkovas. I can't get ahead of myself, but we will get to that white pine. So from my family to yours, y'all, hope you're staying well, stay happy, keep growing, take care.